Hey, welcome to episode 26 of Just the Facts. Can you believe it? Episode 26. I'll tell you what you can't believe. This is a big moment for us. This is our very first repeat guest. Can you believe that, Marcy? It took 26 of these to get it. And you are it.
That's exciting.
Nice job. Now,
Thanks.
I have been butchering this name every time. She's polite and doesn't give me a hard time, right? So, Marcy Medinger, MMDealer Advocates.
That is correct.
Did I do it right?
That is correct, Bob.
Yo,
Really?
I always say M&M,
There you go.
but people like M&Ms.
People like, I love M&Ms.
My-
I should have
the green ones.
The best, the best.
You should have done it.
Absolutely. I know, they don't even put green ones in there anymore. Why?
Well, they sell them by themselves now.
Oh, smart.
You
Good
probably
marketing.
pay more.
Good marketing.
They did all the lingo behind it. But hey, at the end of the day, Mars, we talked almost a year ago now, right? Isn't it almost a
did.
year now?
Yeah.
And that was cool. Lots happened since then. The world's still crazy and getting crazier by the moment, right? But we don't want to talk about all that stuff. What we want to talk about is what you and I both just recently sat through. It was pretty cool, right? Mm-hmm. All about reaction. How do you drive how do you cause a reaction? You know, we always say, "Oh, I sell cars. I'm in the dealership. We're in the car business." No, it was made perfectly clear. And I'm an old dog, but here's a new trick, right? It's all about causing a reaction, right? Which ultimately leads to what Mr. Cordell told us is the transaction, right? That was kind of cool.
That's right.
But it's a reaction time, right? And I know you recently told me a story that happened to you, which is kind of cool. Would you tell that story? Do you mind telling that story?
Yeah, of course. So my husband and I were redecorating, and we were looking to put some instruments up as kind of decorative pieces on a wall. And we went to eBay to look and see what we could find. So go to eBay. In this particular case, it was a saxophone we were looking for, and there was around 3,600 search results. So started looking through, got to maybe the third or fourth result, and literally the description was something along the lines of saxophone, well loved and used for over 20 years, been sitting in my basement. Wife finally told me I had to sell it. Reluctantly, I agreed. I will tell you, the case smells like a rat's nest. Other than that, it's in great condition and it's had a great life. And we loved that description. And literally, we purchased that particular saxophone because of that description. So I think that we don't think of the car business as being able to create that kind of a reaction or that kind of memory just in describing a vehicle. But it is very possible. And people do want to feel a reaction, and they do want to experience something when they're looking for a purchase that is, the second biggest purchase of their lives. So instead of making it about price, why not make it about something unique and unusual about the vehicle that you're selling?
You know, that leads to a point. Dealers ask us on a daily basis, multiple times a day, how they need to adjust their listings because they're all saying they're getting a reduced effectiveness, a reduced amount of traffic, a reduced, and they're staying profitable, right? It's a shell game right now. There's a lot of crazy things going on. But in terms of what used to feel like online traffic, they're all telling us that it's been going down a little bit, right? Now, at the end of the day, you need to stay on offense if you're a dealer. The minute you're on defense, you're going backwards, right? Mm-hmm. And if you don't stay on offense, it'll take you a long time to react when things are better, right? But if you stay on offense, you can be there, right? Everyone knows that in business. But here's my question to you. The average dealer puts his cars online. Most do that. The average dealer gives a consumer all the information they need, or at least most of it. Most of them do that now, right? Taking a while, but we're there. Mm-hmm. Most dealers price to what they feel is reasonable. That's arguable, but at least in their opinion, it's reasonable because they feel they won't get the traffic anymore, right? But online is a crowded space. Mm-hmm. It's a crowded space, right?
Oh, yeah.
And we talk to consumers. That's what we do at Carfax. And consumers' number one complaint is they can't tell the difference. Mm-hmm. Everyone's beautiful online. Mm-hmm. Every dealer on average has 27 photos. They're good photos at this point because that's someone went around selling photo packages saying you need to improve your photos, right? So most dealers are there.
Mm-hmm.
So how do you make your car stand out? I mean, the average dealer, metro dealer within 50-mile circle has somewhere between 25 and 30,000 cars available for sale on the websites.
Right, right.
How do they find my car?
Yeah. Well, one of the premises of my business is I don't want you to spend any more money. And so finding a car online, the best way to create a reaction, create something different organically. If you go online right now and you were to search, find a car was a non-smoking car, find a one-owner car, find a car that's affordable. Any of those descriptive terms that are more lifestyle driven, you'll find a ton of search results from Google. People also ask all of those things that are very simple for any of us to find, that are free to find, and then create your description based on that. Use that information about the car in Carfax. It's clean, it's well maintained, it was lovingly serviced. You could tell the person really cared about the car. It's great for a teenager. It's got 10 airbags, whatever it might be, but something that appeals to the lifestyle. Like you've said before, everybody knows it's got power locks. Everybody knows it's got, whatever the newest technology. If it's a 5-year-old car or newer, all that technology is pretty standard. But what you're not doing is creating a reason for people to call you besides price. And who wants to start a conversation with somebody based entirely on price? It's a lose-lose.
It's absolutely true. And it's stronger than that because the dealers that are doing the VIN populated description because they feel that someone's typing in power windows. First of all, to your point, there's not a car made today without power windows, locks, tilters. So that ain't making no one find your car if everyone. But here's the worst part. It doesn't matter the website. Go to your VDP page and right below your description is a list of all the
description.
So consumers tell us it gets very frustrating. They don't find out anything unique about the car.
Right.
So it is amazing to me why we're so reluctant to change that. Like I know when it started, I'm trying to be nice here, but it started when people went around to dealers saying, you need to maximize your SEO optimization. And dealers go, I do what? What is that? Well, don't worry about that. That's what I do, but you need to do it. So here's what we're going to do. Mm-hmm. And they started doing all that, right? Yeah. It's just not true anymore. SEO optimization is killer, but how you get there is different. Yeah. Would you agree with that?
Absolutely. And I think that, vendors in the past have made SEO sound like some gobbledygook, secret saucy formula.
Well, sure.
All it is maximizing your organic lead generation and making sure that your website, your content, your listings, and everything is set up or optimized so that people, the average consumer, finds it and is excited about it. Think about your own shopping habits, right? So you go online, you're looking for a pair of brown shoes, and you go to 2 websites. One description is brown shoes, size 10, medium. The next description is brown shoes, size 10, medium, incredibly soft interior soles, soft exterior, comfortable, walk 10 miles, all that stuff that I'm inarticulately trying to say, but you get
Free roaming cows.
Yeah, there you go.
Non-stressed out.
I'm struggling to describe, but you guys know what I'm talking about. You describe the shoes. They're super comfortable. They're great to walk in. They're going to feel great on your feet. Which are you going to click on? The brown shoes that are size 10.5 or the ones that are super, super comfortable, that have great exterior, great soles? Well, it's a no-brainer, right? It's the same exact thing with cars. You have a Chevy Camaro that's 27.5, all of the different features, or you have a Chevy Camaro that was owned by a guy who used to love street racing. So he knew he couldn't street race, so he got a Chevy Camaro. He loved that car. It was his baby. It was his pride and joy, and he kept it until he had his second kid, and his wife finally said, that can't stay in the garage
Made
anymore.
him get rid of it.
That's got to go.
Yeah.
And what man can't relate to that, right? So all of a sudden it's got a story. And when somebody calls, they see that story, your salesperson can engage with that person based on the story, not based on the price is $27.5, but based on, oh man, that poor dude, he had to give up his Chevy Camaro. I feel you, but hey, I'm going to gain from it. Sales guy says, yeah, exactly.
You lost my gain.
There you go.
Every opportunity has
That's
another.
SEO, simplified.
It's funny. It's amazing what we won't say versus what everyone says.
Yeah.
Right? Like we get asked all the time because we're Carfax about accidents and put them in your description, right?
Absolutely.
Stop driving traffic, start finding buyers. Would you agree with that?
Absolutely. We've talked about this just recently. Somebody says, "Oh, people don't read the descriptions. They call and it's a 4-wheel drive. No, it's actually a 2-wheel drive." Well, that person's not going to be your customer anyway. Do you want 100 leads,
Right?
Or do you want 10 buyers? Which do you want? You
Right.
want 10 buyers,
Right.
And be as transparent as possible. Most people are fine buying a car with one accident that is detailed.
Most people don't flinch.
Exactly.
As long as you describe it.
You bought it, the dealer bought it.
Right. As long as you describe it, right? So that listing is what sets your car apart. Would you agree with that?
Absolutely, 100%.
So really, if you concentrate on not being so concerned about leads, which we're never good at anyway, the average closing ratio is at 35%. Physical, right? And 12 or 13, depending on who you believe, on e-leads, and 4 or 5 on phone. It takes 100 customers to find 4 deals. No, that's expensive. The days of just sending as much as you can and we'll sort them out when they get here are done. How do you find the buyer? How do you set your car apart? That's the magic. Would you agree with that? Am I overstating that?
No, absolutely. That's the magic. And here's a simplified SEO tip. Piggyback on a brand name that even Google recognizes, which is Carfax. Put on your drop down for your inventory Carfax one owner cars. Right away you're going to get more traffic because Google recognizes the name Carfax. And listen, I wouldn't be saying that if that wasn't the case. But
we never asked you for a commercial.
I'm going to cheat whenever I can with SEO, and I use that for all of my Carfax dealers. So that's just a bonus tip.
Well, thank you for that. We don't ask for advertising on this program, but we appreciate it.
Well,
we're never going to say we don't appreciate it. So let's look at the one last thing, and then we'll keep the program short like we like to. What's the one mistake that's most common that dealers do when it comes to doing business online, to do what we're talking about? Is there a common mistake? I know there's a bunch of them, but is there one or two that is pretty common? You do a lot of work with a lot of dealers. You must start to see one or two commonalities a lot, right? Am I saying that correctly?
Yeah. I think the biggest mistake is how bogged down people's VDPs tend to get. They'll have a widget for this and a widget for that and a widget for trade and a widget for a window sticker and people just want the basics, and you just want them to call so you can engage them. So they want to know the description of the car, again, in an engaging way that's going to create a reaction. They do want the Carfax. They do want to know the history of the vehicle, the care of the vehicle, the servicing, the accident history. Beyond that, you just want them to call you. You want to be able to engage with them. So having all of those widgets on a VDP, because you think it's easy, it makes it easier for the customer, is actually the opposite. It's too much. It's confusing. It's overwhelming. A lot of these people have never bought a car, or if they have, they've only bought one or two. They don't do it every day like we do.
Yeah.
So that's a big one.
But you're right. There are a lot of things that people are jamming on a VDP now.
Oh, crazy! Just talked to somebody the other day, and he had the whole description.
Yeah.
The VDP description.
A
car story widget, a window sticker widget, his Carfax widget, and then a description about the actual dealership itself. And so, it's frustrating for people when they're looking for the basic information. Think about, again, your own search habits. You're just looking for the basic information.
The car's the star.
The car's the star. The car's the star, And if they're looking for a car that is, again, great for their teenage child, and they, come across a description that says, great for a teenager, 10 airbags, you got them right there. You don't need all that other crap.
That's awesome. Keep it simple.
Keep it simple. I would say that's the biggest mistake, and it would be across, not just the VDP, but across the website, but the VDP is the most important thing.
You know what, Marcy? This has been, like it always is with you, an enjoyable conversation, because you're not stuffy about the topic. So many people want to be, I don't know the right word. Stuffy's probably not, but they're hard to talk to, right? They're hard to talk to. You're very relaxed. You're very upfront about things.
I'm very inarticulate at times, which probably makes me more relatable.
And that's what we like about you. But I'm going to give you just a minute or two. I know you don't like to do this, but I'm going to tell you to do this. Tell them about your business because you're very good at what you do. Take a couple minutes and tell them about your business.
So what we do is we basically look at a dealership's digital tools they're using or not using, the organic lead generation or lack thereof, the user experience that people are having, and basically do a mini overhaul. Get rid of the redundancies, get rid of the things that aren't working, optimize the things that are working, make sure all the features and capabilities of any digital tool that's being used is actually being used. And then take a look at all of the free things that we could be doing that are not currently being done and set a plan in place so those things will start being done and continue on. And then we say, all right, fly, birdie, fly, and go on your merry way and keep to the plan and all will work out well for you.
Well, there you have it. Right from Dealer Advocates. Did I do that?
M&M though, but yes,
See,
M&M.
it should be M&M. I keep telling you that. Thank you, everybody, and we'll see you on the next Just the Facts. Take care.